before them can do them thing. Yep, a time for serious business. Under the new Road Traffic Act, only registered driving instructors or institutions are allowed to give driving lessons for a fee. So, make sure you're registered by January 2024 if you want to work as a driving instructor or operate a driving school. Do the right thing. Get certified if you want to teach persons to drive. Let's do all we can to ensure we arrive alive.
A production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.
Nationwide 90 FM, continuing the tradition of fair, fearless, and factual reporting.
Jamaica's poverty rate has dropped from 16.7% to 8.2%. As the government's economic program begins to pay off, our country is heading towards sustained growth. We are building Jamaica. The time by the office of the Prime Minister is
7 minutes after 9.
You're inside the Consumer Hour with Nora Gay Banton.
Good morning to you. It is Monday. It's a brand new day, a brand new work week. It's Monday, November 10, 2025. We are alive and well, and for that we give God thanks. Good morning to you. If you're listening on the 90 FM band, 90.3, 90.5, 90.7, or 90.9, thank you so much for joining us on your radio. If you are listening and watching on our YouTube channel, top of the morning to you. The channel is Nationwide 90 FM Live 2. That's Nationwide 90 FM LIVE with the number 2 beside that. Go on over there and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Seeing Merlin Russell first in the YouTube chat this morning. Good morning to you, Merlin Russell. I'm winning right now. Top of the morning to you as well. Hugh Donaldson, Donna Johnson. Good morning to ya. Anis Campbell Murray. Good morning. Rick NYC, good morning to you. Albert Morgan, Herman Hyatt, good morning to you as well. Lorna Davis, Ryder 40, top of the morning to you. Cheryl Hamilton, is that Carville Wallace, Cynthia Matheson, all the others over there on YouTube, good morning to you. If you're listening from our mobile app, which is available for free on the Google Play and the Apple App Store, it's Revo News. Good morning to you. And if you are listening or watching on our YouTube channel, good morning to you. Not YouTube, our website. Good morning to you. The website is revonews.ai. All right. So if you're on any of those platforms, good morning to you. Thank you for making it Nationwide 90 FM. It's a Monday morning, and this morning we have for you Immigration Mondays. And inside Immigration Mondays, we are joined by U.S. Immigration Attorney Opal Lee and Canadian Immigration Consultant Nadine Mahabir. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning, Nora. Good morning, Nadine. Good morning.
I'm not sure why Opal is very low. Okay. Hearing a little better now. Good morning to you, Opal.
No. Good morning, Nora. Is that better?
Much, much better.
All right. And good morning, Nadine. And good morning to our wonderful listeners and viewers. Happy Monday.
Good morning. Good morning, Miss Nora. Good morning, Miss Lee. Good morning to our Nationwide family. Thanks for joining us.
All right. Good morning to you, ladies. If you're new to the program, inside Immigration Mondays, you usually get an update on immigration-related matters from Opal and Nadine from the US and Canada, respectively. And then after that, we will open the phone lines for you. For those of you who have any questions, immigration related for either country, you can give us a call. Just to remind you of those numbers now, 876-630-9371. And that goes up to 4 and 618-6730. We're going to go to the update now. Opal and then Nadine.
Thank you, Nora. So on the update side of things, so here's the thing. the U.S. State Department has signaled that they're going to be doing a huge crackdown on visa applications, so especially for immigrants. And so what that means is that they're going to be doing, they've ordered the consular officers to do significant vetting to make sure that, and to order them to deny certain visa applicants who are deemed likely to rely on public benefits. For example, they're going to be weighing factors such as the person's health, their age, their English proficiency, their finances, and even the potential for need for like long-term medical care. This is not actually new, but it's just that they're going to be going deeper. For example, when you have to do your medical right now at Andrews Hospital, and let's say it comes back that you have certain medical condition such as that, the big one that I think is going to be very impactful is like diabetes, Nora. So they're saying that they should look at certain health conditions, certain medical conditions, including they have cardiovascular diseases, respiratory diseases, cancers, diabetes, metabolic diseases, neurological diseases, and mental health condition. And that, what the Trump administration is saying, that can require hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of care. And so before they have those people enter the United States, they may deny those applications because they don't want it to become a drain on the U.S. Economy. So what that means for our thousands of applicants in Jamaica and all over in the world is that, make sure you have proper health insurance in place before even applying. If you think that you're in one of these situations, make sure you have proper health insurance. You're going to show the finances, that you have the financial ability to care for yourself. And one thing also, Nora, I see them going after even the elderly, because what they're saying is that if the U.S. embassy or the consulate deems that these elderly people are going to need extra care, you better show that you have the finances. So it says older visa applicants who are nearing the retirement age, they're to face particular scrutiny, both for their job prospects and whether they can support themselves once they stop working. So, Nora, you're going to be applying, coming into the U.S., you're not going to be working it depends on your age, and they're going to want to see, okay, when you enter the U.S., what are you going to do? If you're not going to work, who's going to care for you? Are you going to just start depending on the U.S. government, for example, for your care? So that is something very, very major. And particular is for diabetes, because, there's so many people, Nora, that have diabetes. And that's normally, even though you do your medical because you're vetting for medical condition, diabetes was never part of something to keep somebody out of the U.S.
Yeah.
And so that is very telling how they have now narrowed the scope.
Wow. Important information there for our Jamaicans who will be applying or in the process of applying for immigrant visas, especially. Important information for you to note. And of course, if you need any further information or guidance, you can always reach out to Opal. We are up on a break, so we're going to take this break. When we come back, we'll hear the immigration update from Nadine out of Canada, and then we will open the phone lines for you.
Decorate and redecorate your space with water-resistant, colorful, and fast-drying paints from Edgechem Paints. The time by Edgechem Paints, changing lives 1 gallon at a time, is
9:15. Tracking hurricane.
Spectrum Insurance Brokers provides quality insurance.
If it's in the public's interest, it's the nation's business during Nationwide at 5. The nation's business.
Good morning, good morning. You're back here inside the Consumer Hour on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Nora Gay Banton. It's Immigration Mondays, and we're joined by U.S. Immigration Attorney Opal Lee and Canadian Immigration Consultant Nadine Mahabir. And we, before the break, got the update from Opal out of the United States, and now we are handing things over to Nadine.
Nora, what I'd actually like to mention is the 2025 to 2027 immigration levels that our government is proposing or stating for the upcoming years. Now, Nora, as you know, over the years, Canada has always been, I'm going to say, very welcoming to persons who want to come here either as students, workers, or even for sponsoring family members. Over the last year or so, they have been looking at those numbers and saying we need to put a break on the number of persons that are coming into the country. Now, they are decreasing certain categories, Nora. For example, for workers, and this does not include our farm workers. So for persons who are looking at coming to Canada as a worker, they are reducing the numbers. The quota for this year was 367,750. For next year, Nora, they're cutting it down to 210,700. And for 2027, they're bumping it up back a little bit to 237,000. So, you know, I suppose based on what has been happening in the economy, we know last year there was major issues with housing. This year, that is not so much the case. For international students, the number for this year that they are accommodating is 305,900. That number will remain the same for next year and 2027 as well. Again, for students who are looking at coming to Canada, January is pretty close. I'm assuming you'll be looking at next year, September. Please ensure that you apply early, and of course, you put all your documents in order before submission. Thanks, Nora.
All right. Information there for our students going over to Canada for schooling. Very, very important information for you to note. Thank you so much, Nadine. All right. So we are at the point in the program now where we will take your calls and your questions in the YouTube chat. So if you have any immigration related, any important question that you need to ask, or any area that you need guidance with, then you can give us a call. The numbers to call, 876-630-9371. There's also 630-9372. 630-9373, 630-9374, and 618-8255. Those are the numbers to call. All right. And we also have our YouTube live chat open for you. If you cannot give us a call, then you can ask your question in the chat. And I'm going to go right over to the chat. We're live on YouTube at Nationwide 90 FM Live 2. Seeing a question here for you, Opal. It says, good morning. As of today, what year are they at for parents who are citizens sponsoring a child, and also if the parent is a green card holder? So, okay.
Okay. So it depends on, when you say child, is a child 21 years old or over? Because if so, they're single, they're right now at November 2016. That's if the parents are U.S. citizen, sponsoring an adult unmarried child, they're at November 2016. If the parent is a green card holder, they're still almost like a month apart because they're at December 1st, 2016. So not much of a difference for U.S. citizen or green card holder parent filing for adult single children. Now, if the child is married, the adult child is married, there it will be the F3 category. And of course, the parent has to be a U.S. citizen because green card holders cannot file for married children. They're right now at September 2011. If the child is under 21 years old, there's no waiting for a prior to date because the prior to date will always be current.
All right. Well, the person followed up to say it's a 12-year-old.
Well, it's current. So if it's a green card holder, if the parent's a green card holder filing for that child, they're right now at February 2024. So they're at least a year and a half behind.
Okay, thank you so much for that. I should have asked before we jumped into the questions, but have there been any additional information given for persons who are seeking to come to either country for disaster relief?
Not in the U.S. There's no TPS, temporary protected status, or anything like that announced right now. Remember, Nora, maybe one of the things is I remember we're in no money. The government.
Right.
Don't have any
right. Got it.
Shut down. So I'm thinking maybe that could be one of the reasons right now.
I have not seen any news release to that effect, Nora. Keep our fingers crossed that does happen.
Okay. All right. I believe I saw another question in the YouTube chat. Just to remind you of the numbers to call: 876-630-9371. There's also 630-9372, 630-9373, 630-9374, and 618-8255. I see a person still asking about expediting, well, not in the chat right now, but persons are still asking about expediting filing for their family members who may have been affected by the hurricane in Jamaica, and they may just want to get them up instead of trying to spend money to rebuild here in Jamaica. If you could just go over that process again for both Canada and the US.
Right. So I'll start off. So for US, it's called you can apply for what's called humanitarian parole. If a visa number is not yet available, you can ask the US consulate or USCIS just to allow that person, the applicant, to enter the United States on a humanitarian basis. They're saying, listen, even though it's going to take another 8 years or 7 years for a visa number to become available, or even 4 or 3 years, there's a crisis right now where the family member is now homeless in Jamaica because of what happened in the hurricane. Can you permit that family member to enter in the meanwhile because of the situation, health condition, or anything else that might be affecting that person? So it's a humanitarian basis crisis. If a visa number is already available and it's just because of the backlog in terms of moving those files, Nora, they could definitely ask to expedite it, to basically jump the line and say, listen, this is a crisis here that my family member is in. Same thing, homeless, or because of the situation right now, it's better for them to migrate more than to continue to face any deplorable, anything that's happening right now in Jamaica.
Nora, I'm not aware of any options for, say, expediting the application based on the current situations in Jamaica. Yes, you can write to Immigration Canada via the IRCC web form if you do have an application in, and request, as Opal said, humanitarian and compassionate considerations to allow either for your application to be expedited. Otherwise, you would have to apply for a visitor's visa to come to Canada, and be here for the duration of the processing. In that situation as well, you probably could ask for the file to be transferred, but there's no guarantee that it would be transferred. Processing from Jamaica to Canada instead.
Okay.
But you can request.
All right. Opal, this one here for you. Someone asking if they applied for their citizenship in July 2025. When should they expect an interview?
Or July 2025 normally takes about 8 months for citizenship application, depending on where they are. So normally 8 months to a year. And so if it's July, August, September, October, November, December, they've only gone 4 months so far. So maybe another 4 or 5 months, they should be hearing something.
All right. So in the first quarter next year, you should hear something. All right. Here's another one. This person asking about the visa fee. Says they're going to for an interview at the embassy and wants to know what the fee is at the moment.
Right, they've already paid. If they were supposed to be getting, making any payments, they would have been notified. So right now, keep things how it is. Go to your interview.
Right.
The fact that you have an interview, that they were okay with your money that you paid.
Yeah. So some people still are, not certain, and there's still information swirling around online about the additional money that you should pay that should be refundable if you. All of that is still online, and so some people are still not sure what the situation is.
I know, but guess what, Nora? I'm trying to make sure whoever is hearing, they don't get any ideas and go start, putting it in, implementing it right now. Let's not talk about it.
That's true. All right, let's move on, right? Right.
If you're supposed to pay something, you'll be told at that time to pay it.
If you have an interview, you paid it already. Move right along. All right, let's go. All right. Here is one for you, Nadine. It says, how soon after becoming a resident of Canada can you sponsor a parent? And how long would that take?
Okay, so the parent sponsorship category is not always open, unlike our friends south of us. So after you become a permanent resident, actually to sponsor your parents, you also need to show a certain amount of income for 3 years. If you have a spouse or common law partner in Canada, they can co-sign with you. That's the only person who can co-sign an application to sponsor your parent. So the first thing is you would need to show 3 to 4 years of income and meet the income requirements. Then Immigration Canada also need to reopen that category for you to look at sponsoring your parents, because again, the category is not always open. Processing time once you have been selected from the pool of applicants, because when the pool is opened, they're only going to be accepting a certain number of persons from that pool. And the processing time can take anywhere probably a year to 2 years.
All right. Thank you so much for that, Nadine. We are up on another break, so we're going to take this break. When we come back, we'll continue taking your calls. Well, take your calls and continue taking your questions from the YouTube chat.
Spectrum Insurance Brokers provides quality insurance coverage and risk management services. The time by Spectrum Insurance Brokers Limited, setting the industry standards, is
9:30.
Outperform, outlast. With top performance. Jackama. Reliable, full stop, not comma. We have the expertise for drilling and demolition. We have the power tools for plumbers and electrician. Fancy select tools, free parts and free repairs. Free parts, free repairs. With 2 to 3 years. Hilton, available at Delta Supply, 106 Hagley Park Road. Call us at 876-302-6111-4. Delta Supply, we service what we sell.
Attention PATH beneficiaries. The Ministry of Labour and Social Security understands that your family may have been affected by Hurricane Melissa. To ensure that no one is left behind, we have extended the October 2025 PATH payment cycle for an additional week. You may visit your payment location to collect your benefit up to November 11. If you experience difficulty due to closure of your assigned post office or payment location, please let us know. Call our Client Care Center 876-922-8013 or send us a WhatsApp message 876-582-8972. Together we'll recover, one family at a time. The Ministry of Labour and Social Security, the People's Ministry, leaving no one behind.
Good morning, good morning. You're back here inside the Consumer Hour on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Nora Gay Banton. It's Immigration Mondays. We're joined by U.S. Immigration Attorney Opal Lee and Canadian Immigration Consultant Nadine Mahaber. And we are taking your calls. Just to remind you of the numbers to call, 876-630-9371. And that goes all the way up to 4 and 618-6730. Those are the numbers to call. We're also taking your questions from the YouTube chat. We're live on YouTube at Nationwide 90 FM Live 2. So go on over there and ask your question if you are unable to give us a call at the moment. And jumping right back into the question, someone is asking how they can apply for citizenship in Canada.
Well, first they would need to become a permanent resident, Nora. And after living in Canada, if you've accumulated 1,095 days within the preceding 4 years, you don't have any criminal record. And of course, you've been doing your taxes, because that's one of the questions that is asked on the application form. Then you may go ahead and submit your application for citizenship. If you are under, I believe it's 55, you will need to show proof of English proficiency. You may do this by submitting either your secondary or high school or tertiary level education documents. Or, of course, if you've done an English test, you may submit that information as well.
All right. Thank you so much for that. Opal, someone here is asking if there has been any report of any glitch, or if you've seen any glitch with the U.S. Embassy application site. It says the applicant details section has some questions which the person didn't see when answering the questions. Not sure.
No, we have not seen any of that issues. We've been able to successfully submit our applications. So I'm not sure.
All right. No glitch reported. News commentator J.A. Here's one for you, Nadine. It says, when can an international student or any temporary resident apply for a Canadian driver's license?
Hi, good morning. I would not be able to answer that question. I'm sorry. You would have to go to Service Canada and find out what the requirements are. I believe if you have an overseas driving license, you may get a copy of your, I'm not exactly sure what it's called, like your driver's abstract or history when you're going into Service Canada. But again, check the Service Canada website. That's not really an immigration question. That's more a Service Canada question.
All right. We have a caller on the line. Colleen, good morning.
Good morning. A minute, please, Charlie.
Hello.
So I have a concern. You're hearing me now?
You're a little low. If you could just speak up for me.
Is it any better?
All right, go ahead. I think I'm hearing you.
Okay, good morning again to all. All right, so my concern, I have a child gotten citizenship, U.S. citizenship through his dad. We would have separated, however, the documents, he actually have the original documents and decided that he is not going to give me such. And along with that, he now decides that he's no longer supporting the child. I'm not sure if he's actually claiming for taxes or of such. I was now informed that he is now married. I have no contact with him since December, so I would like to know how to actually proceed with any legal advice or such.
Okay. Good morning, caller. I think I saw you also posted something in the chat, correct?
Yes, I did.
Okay. All right. So if since your child is a U.S. citizen, are you stating that the father is not giving you the child's documents as well?
Right. So
you have the child's passport?
He has all original documents. Only thing I have are copies. Luckily, I saved those.
All right, so that's number one. He can't just withhold the child's travel documents. You can report that to the U.S. Embassy. That's number one. Number two, in terms of the child support part of it, whatever state that he's living in, you can start child support, or in that state. As a matter of fact, you can start child support too in Jamaica, because where's the child right now? In Jamaica?
Yes, he is.
And the child was conceived in Jamaica?
Yes, he is.
All right, so you can actually maybe contact our office. Let's see about that, and depending on where the father lives, to start the child support action. This is not really an immigration question, to be honest, but we can talk off air. I practice, other than immigration, I practice in Florida and in Jamaica in terms of child support and child custody issue, because it sounds to me you have more a custody and child support issue, which again, if it's Florida based, I could help you with that. If it's Jamaica, I could help you with that as well. And so that's something we could talk about offline on that. With regards to withholding somebody's travel documents, you can go ahead and report that to the relevant authorities. But I always suggest to Nora, immigration goes hand in hand when people are filing for their minor children. Is the children going to live with mommy or daddy in Jamaica or in the States? And so I normally suggest that you do a child custody application in Jamaica before allowing your child to migrate, because then you're going to see this fight going on when the child actually gets a U.S. passport and migrates on where the child is going to live, and then it's going to be costly for you now to be getting an attorney in the state wherever the child, the parent or the parent who is living wherever in the state, to try and get an attorney in whatever state to try and do custody issues. Whereas if you had done the custody issue part in Jamaica, you could then ask the court in the whatever state it is to go ahead and respect that order that's already in place by the Jamaica Supreme Court. But that, again, that's not an immigration question. But luckily for you, I do practice in Florida and in Jamaica, other than immigration. So you can talk off air about that.
Is there a contact I can get?
Right, continue to listen. We'll give our numbers. I don't think we did give our numbers out yet, but we will before the end of the show.
Okay, then. Thank you.
All right, I'll allow you to give the number just before we go for the next break. There are a few more questions in the YouTube chat. Lloyd is asking if a permanent resident in the U.S. can come to take their minor child to a visa application interview.
Oh, yes. I mean, if it's a child, if a parent, biological parent, even adopted parent, and a legal guardian can accompany that child to an interview.
All right. This person is asking Nadine, what's the duration for sponsoring a spouse to get to Canada?
If the spouse is living outside of Canada, you're looking at approximately a year from submission. Now, based on what is happening in Jamaica, I'm not sure if that process will take any longer, but you're looking at approximately a year. And Nora, just to back up a little bit to the previous question regarding applying for citizenship, I'm just reading the question in the YouTube chat, and I'm wondering if the person was actually asking about applying for permanent residency. Because first you need to apply to become a permanent resident before you can become a citizen. And to apply for permanent residency for yourself and your family, you would need to see if you meet the requirements for the express entry system or one of the provincial nominee programs. Thanks, Nora.
All right, no problem. Thank you, Nadine. Here is another one from YouTube. This person says, I applied for my green card before COVID, and until now I've heard nothing.
Whoa. I need more information on that. Apply for a green card before COVID? I'm trying to find that question so I could...
Well, that was pretty much it. I applied for my green card before COVID, and until now I don't hear from them. Dorrit. Not sure.
That depends on
how you were trying to get that green card. Through what process?
So if the person is in the United States, exactly, and if the person is in the U.S., because I think they mix it up sometime with immigrant visa that they're applying for. So if you're in Jamaica, you're not really doing an adjustment of status. You're just doing applying for an immigrant visa, and it depends on who was filing for you. Your parent, your spouse is a parent, a U.S. citizen, is a parent, a green card holder. Because some categories, as you know, Nora, takes a longer time. Could be 9 years, 8 years, or longer.
Yeah. Here is another one just before we go to the break. This one says, I'm a U.S. citizen and I began the process of filing for my husband in August. He has not received any emails requesting info or for him to create a USCIS account. When can we expect any form of communication from USCIS?
Okay, so since you're a U.S. citizen, if your husband lives in Jamaica or outside the United States, the first thing, he's not going to get any communication or anything yet. You, as the petitioner, will get notification. First, you will get a receipt notice, which you normally get within 2 or 3 weeks. And then the immigrant petition itself, it usually takes about a year and a half for it to be processed. And since it was just in August, if it's this August that you submit, we have now only gone, 3-4 months? September, October, November, only 3 months. So it's very, very early. So no, your husband will not get any notification yet. Only when the immigrant petition is approved. As I said before, it takes about a year and a half. Once it's approved, then USCIS will send the file to the National Visa Center. And then your loved one may be contacted, and you'll be contacted as well for them to start the immigrant visa process, where you'll go ahead and submit certain civil documents, etc., to the National Visa Center. But you're not ready for that part yet.
All right. Just before we go to the break, I'm going to allow you ladies to give your contact information, Opal and then Nadine.
Thank you, Nora. So Opal Lee, the phone number in Jamaica is 876-854-3599. That's 876-854-3599. In the United States, it's 954-358-2020. That's 954-358-2020. Or you can connect with us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok at Flowjam Legal, FLOJAMLEGAL. Over to you, Nadine.
Thanks, Opal. For Nadine Mehbir, our contact number in Jamaica, it is 876-754-4391. That's 876-754-4391. In Canada, it is 1-416-249-5885. That's 1-416-249-5885. Our email address is info@cdnintl.com. Thanks, Nora.
Thank you so much. We are up on a break. We're going to take this break, and then when we come back, we will continue taking your calls and your questions from the YouTube chat.
Prescriptions, get cosmetics and other pharmaceutical items at Mannings Hill Pharmacy, located at 34A Mannings Hill Road, Kingston. Telephone 924-6280. At Mannings Hill Pharmacy, they stock all the hard-to-get medication. The time by Mannings Hill Pharmacy is
9:45. This is an important announcement from Trans-Jamaican Highway Limited. Trans-Jamaican Highway Limited wishes to advise the public that normal tolling operations will resume at the Portmore, Spanish Town, Vineyards and Maypen toll plazas of Trans-Jam Highways as of 1 p.m. on Monday, November 10, 2025. Please observe the speed limit of 50 kilometers per hour on the approach to the toll plaza and proceed carefully. That was an important announcement from Trans-Jamaica Highways Limited.
Attention Path beneficiaries. The Ministry of Labor and Social Security understands that your family may have been affected by Hurricane Melissa. To ensure that no one is left behind, we have extended the October 2025 Path payment cycle for an additional week. You may visit your payment location to collect your benefit up to November 11. If you experience difficulty due to closure of your assigned post office or payment location, please let us know. Call our Client Care Center 876-922-8013 or send us a WhatsApp message 876-582-8972. Together we'll recover, one family at a time. The Ministry of Labor and Social Security, the People's Ministry, leaving no one behind.
Every road, every ride, Burt's Auto Parts and KYB have you covered. From October 24, 2025 to January 30, 2026, get 15% off when you purchase 2 or more KYB shocks at any Burt's location. Plus, enjoy 10% off installation at Burt's Service Center. And for a limited time, you also get a gift with every KYB shocks purchase. So whether it's pothole, corners, or smooth highways, ride in comfort and confidence with KYB shocks from Burt's Auto Parts. Conditions apply. It hurts if you don't check Burt's.
Good morning. You're back here inside the Consumer Hour on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Nora Gay Banton. It's Immigration Mondays, and we're joined by U.S. Immigration Attorney Opal Lee and the Canadian Immigration Consultant Nadine Mahaber. We are taking your calls. The numbers to call 876-630-9371, and that goes up to 4 and 618-8255. Back to the comment section where I'm seeing several questions. This one for you, Nadine. It says, I'm a Jamaican, but I live in Curacao. I'm a citizen of Curacao and also a Jamaican, and I want to apply for a Canadian visa.
So he would need to do the application online, because unlike the US, the Canadian applications are all done online, and you're only called in for an interview if required. If there's no interview required, then you would be requested to submit your passport to the closest visa application center. So I am not sure. That's something I would have to look up for that person, Nora, is where is the closest visa application center, because you're not physically taking your passport into the High Commission, you're sending it by courier. So you may either take it into the visa application center or you send it by courier. You request for it to be sent by courier to the High Commission.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for that, Nadine. Here's one for you, Opal. It says, what are the methods of filing for a parent if the child is a U.S. citizen? And the person went further to say, I'm more focused on clarity on the adjustment of status. So maybe that person is already in the U.S.
Right. So that's what I was about to say. For adjustment of status, that means the parent and the child are both in the United States. So as long as that parent entered lawfully, such as with a visiting visa, even if the visa has expired or the time that the person was permitted in the U.S. has expired, the child being a U.S. citizen and at least 21 years old may go ahead and file an immigrant petition, and then the parent can also do an adjustment, and you do that simultaneously, one step, everything in one. So you're going to need that child's birth certificate to show the parent-child relationship. The child will also need to do an affidavit of support to show they have the requisite income, that their parent is not likely to become a public charge. So you're going to show your most recent W-2, your tax return, your current pay stubs. I usually recommend at least 6 months pay stubs or a job letter. And there are other things such as the work permit application to be submitted. And within submitting the whole package, you should get a receipt within about 2 to 3 weeks. And then your mother will get a notification for her to do a biometrics, which is her fingerprints, to make sure she doesn't have any criminal record that will make her inadmissible to the United States. And then the whole application process usually take about a year and a half or so for her to get the green card. If you need assistance with this, contact our office. We'll do everything for you.
All right. And okay, maybe that's not related to that. Kay Walker on YouTube is saying, how can my family... Well, another question about citizenship in Canada. That question, I believe, was answered already. It says, how can my family and I apply for citizenship in Canada? But I believe that question was answered already, unless there's anything else that you would want to add, Nadine.
No, pretty much what I said before, Nora, which is if the person is not yet a resident, then first they would need to qualify for permanent residency, and they would have to look at self-sponsorship unless they have a family member or friend in Manitoba that can sponsor them or assist with their application, or they're able to get a job offer and probably qualify under one of the provincial nominee programs. Because first, in order to become a Canadian citizen, you need to become a permanent resident first, live in Canada for 3 years, then you can apply for your citizenship.
All right. Thank you for that, Nadine. We have a caller on the line. Vanette, good morning.
Good morning. Yes,
Good morning.
Good morning, Miss Opal.
Good morning.
I have a question for you. If a child filed for their mother in the U.S., the U.S. citizen, they filed last year, January. How long does it take for the parent to get a mother to get answered?
So the child filed for the parent?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
And the parent lives in the U.S. or outside the U.S.?
In Jamaica. In Jamaica.
Okay. So it usually takes about a year and a half for the first step, the immigrant petition, to be approved. Do you know yet if they've already gotten notification that the first part has been approved? Has you gotten USCIS notification from USCIS?
No, you only gotten a receipt. You've gotten a receipt. And then they received the application.
Okay. So it's not yet been a year because you're saying they only started in January of this year. So we're now in November. Right?
January of this year.
So it usually takes about... Okay, so it usually takes about a year or a year and a half or so for the I-130, which is the immigrant petition, to be approved. So just sit tight. You can also monitor it for yourself by going to www.uscis.gov. Just click on searching status of application, and you can put in the number that's usually on the receipt, because you said you did get the receipt number, right? The receipt number, document.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Yes?
Yes, I did.
So the receipt, so the number is on there. So you can go to www.uscis.gov and just check on it. And I encourage clients to do that from time to time, just to make sure that they have not sent out something for a request for further evidence, or they have made a decision, but you have not really gotten the physical decision in the mail. So just to check it. So check it on yourself. But I'm telling you right now, it usually takes about a year and a half. So it's within that timeline right now. So don't panic if you have not yet gotten the approval yet, because it's still within the timeline.
Okay. Thanks much.
All right, Vanette.
You're very welcome.
Take care. We are almost up on time, so I'm going to take one more question from YouTube, and then we will I'll allow you to give your information. This one says, we are adjusting the status in the US. I realized yesterday that the tracking app had no updates last week. It was saying 2 months left, but now it's only showing case history.
Yeah, for that, I really don't tell them to look much on the tracking, because sometimes it could even show 7 years, Nora. So I really don't look at that per se. So again, as I said before, it depends on who is filing, or who the applicant is. It usually takes about a year and a half or so for an immediate family member.
Okay. All right. That's where we're gonna leave it. Where, as it relates to the questions, gonna allow you to give your contact information, Opal, and then Nadine.
Thank you, as always, Nora. So for Opal Lee, the phone number in Jamaica is 876-854-3599. That's 876-854-3599. In the United States, it's 954-358-2020. That's 954-358-2020. And you may connect with us on our Facebook, Instagram, TikTok at Flowjam Legal, FLOJAMLEGAL. Have a great week, everyone, and happy Veterans Day. Tomorrow is Veterans Day in the United States. Happy Veterans Day to all our veterans in the United States. Over to you, Nadine.
Thanks, Opal. For Nadine Mehabir, our contact number in Jamaica, it is 876-754-4391. That's 876-754-4391. In Canada, it is 1-416-249-5885. That's 1-416-249-5885. Email is info@cdnintl.com. And yes, it is Remembrance Day tomorrow. We thank all those who have served. Have a great week, everyone. And folks who are helping out, please remember there are other regions in Westmoreland other than South. There's many, many areas that still need help. Thank you, Nora.
All right, thank you so much, Opal and Nadine. That's where we're going to leave it for the Consumer Hour this morning. Making way now for Cliff Hughes Online.
That was the Consumer Hour with Nora Gay Banton.